Hi friends, this is 5 Minutes to Make Sense of the Bible. I'm Joe Hopkins. Today we reflect on the Epistle to the Philippians, chapter 2, verses 1 through 11. Let's get into the context and content of this epistle, and then see how we might apply this passage to our lives today. First off, an epistle is another word for a letter, and this letter was written to the church of the ancient city of Philippi, and the residents of Philippi were called Philippians. In the 1st century AD, Philippi was a Roman colony in the province of Macedonia, which is today part of modern-day Greece. Philippi was a prosperous city during the Roman Empire due to its location on a Roman-built highway and close to busy mines. There would have been a lot of business people in ancient Philippi. Now, the person who wrote the letter to the Philippians was the Christian apostle and missionary Paul. After a dramatic vision of Jesus Christ, Paul became one of the most influential Christians who were spreading Jesus' teachings around the Eastern Roman Empire. According to a different book of the Bible, the book of Acts, Paul and some other Christians had come to Philippi on a missionary expedition, and they started a Christian community, in other words, a church, there in the house of a businesswoman named Lydia. Paul visited the church in Philippi multiple times during his career as a Christian missionary before he eventually was executed in Rome. Paul's letter to the Philippians is one of 6 letters in the New Testament of the Bible that was written by Paul for sure. Bible scholars disagree with each other about whether Paul wrote some of the other letters attributed to him. But in his letter to the Christians of Philippi, Paul mentions that he is in prison at the time of writing this letter. And he mentions his incarceration multiple times. And still, he exhorts the Philippian Christians to rejoice. Nonetheless, Paul also takes pains to thank the Philippians for a gift that they somehow smuggled into him, despite his imprisonment. In the 2nd chapter of the letter, Paul urges the members of the Philippian church to be of one mind and heart, loving each other in the way that Jesus loved others, namely with sacrificial love. Verses 6 through 11 are often formatted a little differently than the surrounding verses to show that these words are lyrics of a song about Jesus. Now, the first half of this ancient Christian song declares that Jesus was in the form of God in the beginning, but he emptied himself, became human, and died on a cross. Many scholars and preachers refer to this emptying of Jesus as kenosis, which means, in part, that Jesus became fully human while remaining fully God. The second half of the song declares the exaltation of Jesus and the eventual universal recognition of Jesus as Lord. Now let's see how these words from other people's mail might influence our lives today. First, how do you think that Roman infrastructure, like highways, helped early Christians to spread the message of Jesus? How might contemporary infrastructure, like fiber optic cables, cell phone towers, and satellites, help to spread the message of Jesus today? Next, can you imagine what a house church might look like? Would you be willing to host a church in your residence? Finally, does the dual nature of Jesus, aka the belief that Jesus is both fully God and fully human at the same time, does that make sense to you? Why might this doctrine of Jesus' full divinity and full humanity be so important for Christianity? So there, 5 minutes to make sense of the Bible. I am preaching a sermon based on Philippians chapter 2 at Streetsville United Church later this week, so check out our YouTube channel for a recording of our worship services and my sermon. And as you read the Bible by yourself, pay attention to what piques your curiosity. The Spirit often tries to catch our attention through our curiosity. And please post your thoughts and questions in the comments to start some more conversation. And as always, while it's good to read the Bible by ourselves, we make the most sense of the Bible when we read the Bible together. Peace, friends.